let me ask you something. When you think of war, what do you see? Soldiers in dusty boots, flags waving, big speeches from presidents and prime ministers talking about freedom, sacrifice, and national security. We've all grown up with this idea that governments start wars. But what if I told you it's not about that anymore? The most powerful war machine on the planet? It's a corporation. The company you've probably never thought about is Lockheed Martin. You see, modern war, it's not fought, it's bought. And Lockheed Martin, it isn't just a weapons manufacturer, it's the weapons manufacturer. They're the heartbeat of the US military-industrial complex. Every year, billions of taxpayer dollars gets pumped into Lockheed, and in return, they build the fighter jets, the missile systems, the satellites, the surveillance tech, but more than anything, they build influence.
Let's rewind the tape. Lockheed started off in the early 1900s, just another little aviation company. Then came World War II. The US needed planes fast, and Lockheed, they delivered big time. By the Cold War, they were essential. They built the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird. You know, that jet that looks like it was designed by aliens? They gave America an edge in the skies, in surveillance, nuclear deterrence, and global dominance. But with power comes corruption. In the 1970s, Lockheed was caught bribing officials in Japan, Italy, the Netherlands, handing out millions to win weapons deals. That scandal brought down governments. Did Lockheed go down? Nope, they got bigger. In 1995, they merged with Martin Marietta and became Lockheed Martin, the largest defense contractor on the planet. And from there, they went all in. They built the F-16, the F-22, and the F-35. They helped run missile defense systems across Europe and Asia. They became a vendor for nuclear weapons, for cybersecurity, for space programs. They weren't just supplying war, they were making war possible. Now, after 9/11, you know what happened. The US military machine roared back to life. Between 2001 and 2021, Lockheed Martin pulled in over $2 trillion in government contracts. In 2020 alone, they made $65 billion. That's more than the GDP of some countries. But here's where it gets disturbing. Lockheed doesn't just make money from war, they help create the conditions for war. They spend millions on lobbying Congress. They fund think tanks that literally write US foreign policy. And here's the wild part. Their former executives go on to run the Pentagon. And Pentagon officials retire and join Lockheed. It's called the revolving door. And Lockheed, they don't just walk through it, they built it. Let me say something that might stick with you. For Lockheed Martin, peace is actually bad for business. Think about this. When the US withdrew from Afghanistan, Lockheed's stock dropped. But when Russia invaded Ukraine, it skyrocketed. Their CEO literally told investors, "We're seeing increased demand from Eastern Europe and Asia. That's good news for us." Good news for them, because the longer a war drags on, the more missiles get ordered, the more planes get replaced, the more parts need servicing. It's a subscription model for suffering, and it gets even more twisted. Lockheed doesn't just sell to the US. They sell weapons to over 50 countries, including regimes that, let's just say, don't have the best track record on human rights. And if a country can't legally buy from them, no problem. Lockheed just lobbies the US government to change the rules. They go to arms expos, they work with PR firms, they make war look necessary. Ever wonder why every global crisis feels like it's instantly militarized? It's not a coincidence, it's a pipeline. And now, let's talk about the F-35. Supposed to be the most advanced jet in the world, Lockheed's crown jewel. Instead, it became one of the most expensive failures in military history. $1.7 trillion in projected lifetime costs. More than 800 software bugs. It can't fly in lightning, it can't even dogfight properly. But instead of getting scrapped, it became a global export product. Why? Because Lockheed embedded parts of the F-35's production in over a dozen countries. So now, all those countries are financially dependent on the F-35's success. It's not just a jet, it's a job creation blackmail scheme, disguised as innovation. But here's what scares me most. Just imagine that tomorrow the world decided, no more war, let's chase peace. You think Lockheed Martin goes away? Nope. They've already got contracts with NASA, They're building cybersecurity systems for homeland security. They're entering space weapons, biotech, AI surveillance. They're evolving from a defense contractor into a defense tech megacorp. Think Palantir meets SpaceX meets Raytheon, all under one roof. They're not waiting for the next threat, they're engineering the next threat. So if you really want to understand modern war, don't look at battlefields, look at boardrooms. Don't follow the tanks, follow the contracts. Lockheed Martin doesn't need to start wars. It just needs to make sure they never really end. Because when conflict becomes commerce, morality is just a marketing line. And if any of this made you stop and think, even for a second, do the thing. And what's coming next? You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.